Gentlemen and miladies, of course. We all remember Genshin Impact, right? I'm sure everyone has at least seen or heard about it once. Many of you probably resisted the marketing and never downloaded this grindfest masterpiece because you felt like something crucial was missing from the game. Well, good news, my friends. Today we unveil an adapted version of Genshin made for the big boys. A version where nothing feels incomplete. It will blow your horizons wide open. We are diving into a perfect fantasy, taking control of an unusual character. Meet Klee. This little girl is, let's just say, unique. At the very least, her medical record would make an interesting read. ADHD with a sprinkle of schizophrenia. She's a strange kid who loves chatting with an inanimate toy, and trust me, that's not even the most alarming thing about her. From the start of the game, Klee gets an earful from Jin, kind of like her stepmom. Klee's a little terror, absolutely uncontrollable, and loves playing with explosives. Not only does she endanger herself and everyone around her, but she also leaves Mother Nature crying in a corner. Master Jin, who doubles as the head of Mondstadt, tries to knock some sense into the little psycho by locking her up in her room for timeouts. But this kid is completely off the rails. Klee escapes her room, planning a terrifying act of revenge. And where does she head? To someone she believes can definitely help her, an old creep named Dion. She's going to earn some money, which she needs to achieve her very goal. The old geezer recognizes her potential right away. He knows this kind of raw talent can't go to waste, so he hands her a Polaroid and his blessings. Klee is now free to snap pictures of Mondstadt's finest ladies, especially when they least expect it. In the original game, everyone is so picture perfect, but this version lets you dig deep and uncover their dirty little secrets. Enter Hu Tao, a character who will sell you the tools you need for your fun little missions. It all starts small, just some photos on the beach, but trust me, there is a whole wagon load of strawberry stuff coming your way. I have recorded all of it for you with love and care, as always, so don't hesitate to dive into the cut content. I'm sure not only die-hard Genshin lovers, but also everyone who appreciates high art will be thrilled to see these seemingly untouchable beauties give in to their vices. But hold your horses, gentlemen, it is too early to reach for your zippers. Finish the storytale first. Playing this Klee Park adventure, I realized one simple truth. Jin made a big mistake trying to pick a fight with an uncontrollable child. None of today's parenting techniques worked here. On top of that, the girl clearly has a knack for hardcore pranks. Plus, she knows how to connect with shady characters, like this fine fellow who is peddling strawberry stuff in town. Klee has a nose for trouble. She knows exactly when and where to show up. And boy does she make this cute little town suffer. She bears Jin's tits before the whole prideful crowd and, just for good measure, uncovers a criminal conspiracy involving Rosaria and Barbara, two virtuous nuns of the cathedral. Turns out they have been up to some very strange, almost frightening activities behind closed fences. Why? Well, Genshin probably skipped this detail, but running a cathedral requires a mountain of money, and selling candles just doesn't cut it. And nobody wants to see the House of God fall into disrepair, so the girls turn to alternative funding sources. Rosaria also sees Klee's potential and asks her to spread the word about special confession services, which our heroine happily does. But don't think Klee is just a pain in the neck for everyone in town, although she absolutely is. She's also willing to help. For example, this kid who hasn't seen his dad in days. The boy last saw him enter a mysterious little house and never come out. The poor kid suspects a monster might have eaten his dad, based on what he saw. Klee takes it upon herself to investigate and heads to the house where Timmy last saw the scary creature devour his father, while his mom quietly embroiders handkerchiefs in sorrow. Strangely, our writer's genie steps out of the house at one point, but Klee sneaks in at night, and there, oh gods, oh devils, we see two, terrifying indeed, a real monster feasting on Timmy's father. The next morning, Klee goes back to Timmy to comfort him with the news that he doesn't need to worry anymore. His dad's suffering is over. Klee is ready to help not just her little friend, but also Aunt Lisa, a lady who consistently makes it into the sexy top lists of every Genshin fan out there. I am not sure about the original game, but here Aunt Lisa is really into Mommy Jin. Like head over heels love. Jin, on the other hand, keeps playing hard to get, refusing to come over and let Aunt Lisa express her love properly. But Klee, oh, she's no slouch. She's ready to play matchmaker, but only if Lisa agrees to buy her some booze in return. Lisa, of course, is totally on board. And we know exactly how to get the city's head into Lisa's clutches. Enter Mona, the fortune teller. She's brilliant, sure, but she has a slight issue. She's flat broke. Apparently, Mondstadt doesn't have as many gullible idiots as one might expect. Knowing Mona's situation, we propose a fair deal. Klee will help Mona earn some cash, but only if Mona tells Jin's fortune and convinces her that she needs to visit the library, where Aunt Lisa is waiting. The deal is sealed, and Klee is left utterly baffled when she walks in later to find Mommy Jin on her knees before Aunt Lisa, who is stretched out with her legs spread wide, making strange noises. It must be some sort of special prayer ritual for good luck, right? Whatever it was, Klee keeps her promise and helps Mona earn some money by introducing her to Mr. Whiskers, who hints to the stunning fortune teller what a liberated woman might do when her finances are in dire straits. Oh yes. But Klee's primary target for hardcore pranks remains Jin. The execution of hardcore pranks has only just begun. Not even an hour into the game, and Klee has already slipped some booze to Mommy Jin, who as a recovering alcoholic has been strictly sticking to non-alcoholic drinks. Thanks to Klee's intervention, Jin gets absolutely smashed, ending up in a compromising position between two knights right in the cafeteria. But hey, even that couldn't cost her the title of city magistrate. Her voters are truly loyal. Meanwhile, business is booming. The prominent ladies of Mondstadt have realized a brilliant way to save the city from financial collapse. One of their genius solutions is publishing a raunchy magazine with 18+. Way better than just hiking taxes, right? At the trinket shop, we stumble upon Barbara's diary, one of the cathedral nuns and also Jin's sister. Klee, in her usual scatterbrained way, lost the diary in the street. And oh boy, was it packed with juicy secrets that the first person who found it blackmailed Jin into, let's say, suck all the compromising material back, which by the way inspired the preview you might have noticed earlier. Thanks to Klee's mischief, Jin's life now involves a lot more genital encounters, but it's time to give her a breather and shift the focus to Amber, the city's main protector. Klee lent her a hand as well, by scattering a solution meant to knock out Mondstadt's enemies. Instead, it ended up knocking out Amber, leaving the villains of the game free to broaden their intimate horizons. Amber, in particular, is tied to some of the game's most tender moments. She is a true warrior who will stop at nothing to protect her city. No matter what enemies she faces, she is ready to confront them from any position using any part of herself. At first glance, you wouldn't think so, but Amber is surprisingly experienced in certain matters. And judging by how we accidentally caught her in Aunt Lisa's secret room, it's pretty clear who shared that experience with her. As for Jin, the pranks didn't leave her unscathed. The honorable magistrate, a role model for every respectable citizen, began, even without Klee's pranks, openly showcasing some behind-the-scenes details that are usually hidden from the eyes of Genshin players. But Klee wasn't satisfied with just that. She decided to go all out, conducting a total execution of mischief on Jin. She fished out potions from Sucrose, the alchemist, and used them on the long-suffering Jin. As a result, Jin turned into a proper milkmaid, horrified because Mondstadt doesn't make brass in such colossal sizes. Thankfully, the town's creepy old pedophile was ready to help. He performed a ritual to reduce her burdens as best as he could. In a steamy bathhouse, naturally. Klee clearly enjoyed the potion chaos and decided to keep going. However, not all the town's ladies were willing to forgive her antics so easily. Hutao, for example, grabbed the mischievous child after Klee ruined her outfit and declared she'd bury Klee alive. Conveniently, Hutao runs a funeral parlor, so coffins are never in short supply. But don't worry, we made up afterward. Meanwhile, Klee's photography business was thriving. The secrets of Genshin's heroines became more and more scandalous with each new shot. It's hard to believe, but it seems like absolutely everyone in this universe has a naughty streak. However, the only one who truly carries herself with noble flair is Mondstadt's proud defender, Amber. She continued to fight for the territorial integrity of her homeland, fending off every enemy. We'll definitely return to her soon. Klee had to resolve the issue with Hutao. It was time to, so to speak, make amends. The entrepreneur had been paying bribes, but not taxes, and the tax commissioner caught wind of it. Soon enough, the commissioner was racing to conduct an inspection. Hutao decided to get ahead of the situation and sent Klee off to dig up some dirt on the commissioner to dodge the accusations. Fortunately, there was plenty of dirt to be found. Armed with her findings, Klee returned to Hutao, who promptly summoned the tax commissioner/lawyer out of her erotic teapot and confronted her. But then a small hiccup occurred. Yan Fei hadn't come to investigate Hutao's funeral parlor. She was here to figure out who was snapping all the scandalous photos around town and selling them without paying taxes to the treasury. That storyline, however, won't see much development. So Klee, feeling inspired and with a clear conscience, set out to further destabilize Jin's already shaky mental state. To take the pranks to the next level, we needed to enter a criminal conspiracy with those we were already well acquainted with. Mona, for example, was ready to help. Having gained plenty of experience dealing with clients on Slut Street, she was even willing to bring Jin along for the ride. And she did. Aunt Lisa, too, was more than willing to put her hips to work as part of the group effort. After all, Jin was prepared to do anything for the well-being of Mondstadt's citizens. But the real chaos began when we asked Amber to lend a hand. Klee's goal, after all, wasn't malicious, no, she simply wanted to loosen Jin up a bit, to get her to tone down the suffocating seriousness and allow Klee to do as she pleased. Knowing how full and adventurous Aunt Amber's life already was, Klee convinced her to bring Mommy Jin along for the ride. And then things got wild. If the ladies were to lose battles, events would unfold. The tamest consequence would be an encounter with baby slimes. But the stakes rose. Losing to desert bandits would land the ladies in prison, and the only way out would be, well, let's call it the most natural and effective method, pleasing the lovely gang leader and all her lustful army. And that would only be the start of unforgettable adventures. One particularly spectacular encounter would involve the Mirror Maiden. Losing to her would result in the girls being relocated to a new home to live with this enchanting and lonely woman, fulfilling her desires, no matter how peculiar they might be. And even that's not all. There's also the chance to fight the Sin mages. If the girls lose to them, the mages will prove to be just as welcoming. Honestly, it's hard to say whose hospitality is more inventive, they are all unmatched. If Jin and Amber manage to make me perfectly click on the green slider, meaning they defeat everyone, they will seal their victory in each other's strong embrace. But the pranks didn't end there. Demon Klee was hungry for more, so we convinced Sucrose to take a happy Jin on vacation to the Succubus domain, where Futanari content burst into the story with full force. Jin was reaching the necessary conditions. Second to last on the list of antics was Hutao. She decided to keep collaborating with Klee, which meant that poor exhausted Jin was now in for a box of surprises. Well, finally we arrive at the last prank from a character who hasn't had much attention in this tale, Catherine, the quest giver for adventurers and, as I understand, a robo-doll. Before we could completely reformat Jin's mind with Catherine's help, we noticed that the developers had come up with an interesting new way for Genshin's main songstress Barbara to earn money. Forget the hole in the wall. Barbara, with a little nudge from Klee, realized that the Archons didn't create the internet in Genshin for nothing. It was meant to be profitable. So straight to OnlyFans she went, and Barbara's streaming career flourished. The game's main event, the festival, was fast approaching. That meant tourists, eager to have some fun with the heroines of their favorite franchise, were on their way. Oops, seems like I just broke the fourth wall completely. Klee was tasked with spreading posters around town, letting people know where they could empty their their wallets. I thought things would play out modestly, like backstage at a concert, but oh, how I underestimated Mondstadt's ladies. The Genshin girls took the bulls by the horns, literally leading them straight to the hotel to shake every last coin out of them. Things got so intense I had to mute the game. The ladies were working. I went to Dion to share my thoughts on all this, but that scumbag had stopped holding back too. The bastards seemed to decide it was time to live out every fan's dream of visiting each heroine in his favorite game. The eroticism reached an all-encompassing peak, and Mondstadt was truly heating up. It seemed like every playable character joined in to help their beloved city prosper. They let loose after years of restraint. Klee still had one last pre-finale prank for Jin, and Catherine agreed to help. Genshin fans might be surprised, but Catherine isn't just about handing out quests. She can do quite a bit more if an adventurer has the right clearance. The idea was that Jin would now help adventurers too. The magistrate was expanding her duties and was ready to offer every adventurer with the proper clearance the exact arsenal of services they truly needed. Things were going crazy, but not quite at their peak yet. The total chaos was still ahead. After ensuring that Jin had fulfilled her civic duties, Klee prepared her final prank. A grand finale so over the top that no one would be left with any trace of embarrassment. Armed with a horse-sized dose of Viagra, Klee sneaked into the hot springs. The only one who could stop us now was Jin, but she couldn't. Klee had completely broken her mind. And so, in the pump room, it all culminated in what the entire game had been leading up to. We dumped an entire canister of aphrodisiac into the system. The scent spread across all of Genshin, and with shame, awkwardness and decency thrown out the window, we found ourselves amidst a widespread orgy. Showing this without losing a YouTube license would be a challenge, so things will remain almost chaste here. But what can I say? In my opinion, the festival ended on a high note. Since the water flows throughout the city and even spills into neighboring areas, the fun enveloped everyone, especially that pervert. But the most important part, the goal we'd been striving for all game, Jin finally gave Klee permission to blow up fish in the sea with her bombs.